Boo. That's our intro. All righty. What up, gentlemen? What's up, world? We have made it to episode 10. I know they're not coming out as fast as we would like, but hey, we have to do some other things in life sometimes, right, gentlemen? So, episode 10, we got a really cool topic today. But before we get into that, Cody, how you been? Joseph, how you been? You good, boys?
I'm great.
You great?
Life's
Cody, good?
Yeah,
Doing good.
since last
They have to think. They have to
episode.
think about how good they're doing. So, episode 10, listeners, we're going to go over really our life experiences as a trainer over the past, I don't know, I've been a trainer for 13 years. Joseph, probably the same. I think Cody, the same. So, what are things we know now that we wish we could have told ourselves 13 years ago? What did we learn? How could we accelerate that learning curve? And maybe just some fun stories during that time is where we're going to go with today's episode. So I think this one's going to be funny. We almost talked forever before this podcast just about some stories. And we're like, hey, we actually got to do this podcast. So let's stop talking and let's get into it. So I guess I'm going to kick it off. I don't know, Cody. What's your biggest, man, I wish I could tell younger type Cody this now, look into a crystal ball. Now that you know what you know.
Oh man, it's gonna be a heck of a lot harder than I think it is. I don't know how to frame how I'm communicating this, but yeah, I tell my
We
younger
can do
self.
a lot of them. We'll do a lot of them, but we've got plenty to talk about. But what's just one thing? Let's just dive headfirst in the deep end. What's one thing?
Yeah, I mean, just big picture, high level, I would tell myself that it's going to be a lot harder than I think it is. And it's not just like being in the gym, having people exercise, like that's a part of it, but pretty rude awakening to like figuring out that that's not all my scope would be as a trainer, right? We have to do a lot more than just do exercises in the gym.
Yeah. And maybe I don't mean to interrupt, but I think of this one story from high school. There was this place called Bush's Chicken. Shout out Bush's Chicken if you're from Central Texas. It's delicious. The first ever Bush's Chicken was by our high school. And we always thought the dream job would to be work at Bush's Chicken because we went there every day to get a sweet tea, to get a real deal. Shout out Real Deals. And then we actually have a buddy get a job there. And the next thing you know, he's like, I will never eat Bush's Chicken ever again. And I think that's what training is like well, a lot of trainers get into personal training because they just love working out. They're like, man, I would love to make money at this. But then you start out at 23, 24, you love to work out, you love the way you look. And the next thing you know, you're spending 12 hours in a gym and you're like, the last thing I want to do is go make myself work out right now. And that's our Bush's Chicken. That was my Bush's Chicken.
Well, so let me throw a question back at you. Maybe Joseph, Tyler, whatever. What was the biggest assumption that you had about being a personal trainer? What did you think being a personal trainer would be like back then? And then how does that compare to now?
I thought back then that everyone would be willing to hire a trainer. It was just like, I just felt like it was a no-brainer. Like I was like, yeah, people are gonna love this. Like this is gonna be so easy, right?
People are going to be lining up outside to work with JoJo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we always catch glimpses like when you see trainers in gyms and they're with their client, they're laughing, smiling, doing all that. And so we catch these little glimpses and blips into their life. And we think that's what it's going to be like the whole time. Little do you know that you're going to have the same conversation every single day with your client. How was your weekend? My weekend was great. How was your week? And it's the same conversation. It's fun to have, but you have the same one. And then you will have those clients that you love training, and you'll have those clients where it's the fastest hour in the world, fastest 45 minutes. And then you'll have those clients that it's the longest hour of your life. And you don't really realize that till you get into it, but that's just the nature of the beast, that it's going to be 12 hours of the same conversations for the most part. And then you're going to have blips and times that it's awesome, and hours to 2 hour periods where it's like, for the love of Jesus, can that clock go by faster?
For sure.
Would you, and this kind of popped in my head, and why is it every gym in America you walk in and the trainers never talk to you, never smile at you, never really look like they're having fun? You know, if I were to be thrust back into the world of a trainer at a gym, a big box gym, I would smile at everyone, high five everyone, go talk to everyone, like you said. And then when I'm with my clients, I would make it look like I'm having the most fun ever. Because you can get this big buff guy or pretty girl, and they're taking their client through a workout. But if all these people in this gym are around them are looking at these two people working out and it looks like they're not having any fun, why would you go hire them? Like, I see a trainer and he's having fun with their client. They're laughing, they're joking, and they're getting stuff done still. Like, I'm like, man, that's going to be a successful trainer right there. Have freaking fun.
Yeah, I think that would be, we might want to get into this later, but let's say, I know that in the relationship world, it's tough to date a personal trainer. And the reason is because when you're having fun with your clients, oftentimes it gets portrayed as flirting, right? Maybe it's just me. And so it's tough when you talk about like, hey, have fun. But that funness, I can probably count 20 times at least where outside people think I'm dating a client because of our interactions with one another, because of how much fun we're having, because of how we're laughing and smiling and we're opening up and we're communicating. And it's not as boring as maybe what you think personal training is. And it's not just me sitting there counting your reps and adding weight and taking off weight and re-racking your weight and so on and so forth. It's like we're interacting, we're having fun, we're chit-chatting, we're picking fun at one another. So I think that goes a really long way. And to your point, I don't know why. I mean, I walked into a new gym the other day I've never been to. Not going to mention any names because I don't want us to get sued, but the trainers didn't acknowledge anyone. They're like on their phones, they're writing on a piece of paper, they're on a computer, they're not doing anything with the people that are already there. And I think, again, going shout out to my fitness manager who was like, go walk around the gym, go talk to people, go help, go re-rack weights, like just get around people to where they are now more comfortable with you being in the vicinity, which means they're going to be more comfortable to maybe ask you a question or ask you for a spot, and that can trigger a conversation. Just go get out there. But like to your point, like nowadays, you just don't see it anymore. They stare at you. It looks like everyone's judging you, or they don't pay attention to you at all. Yeah.
Very, very, very strange world. Go ahead, Cody.
I mean, I think it's easier for probably a newer trainer to clam up on a commercial gym floor, be a little bit more reserved. You probably, especially with today's technology and whatnot, look, it's so easy for fitness information to get spread around. And so I would say the average gym goer is more educated than they were 20 years ago, right? And so for a newer trainer who doesn't maybe have the confidence in what they're doing or in their protocols, their approaches and whatnot, it's probably easier to just kind of clam up, and that tells people I'm not having fun. This is boring. Now, you are bored and you're not having fun when your client's working out and you're Snapchatting or you're texting and you're on your and it's honest, it's common to see that, right? Their client is working out and the trainer is, taking a selfie or something, and it, that does probably mean that you're bored or distracted and whatnot. Really just kind of like a lack of professionalism to a degree, right? And it's also probably a huge disconnect in expectations. Trainer, right, would think everybody's going to like fitness as much as I do. And the protocols that work for me are going to work for everyone. And if they don't, well, they just don't want it bad enough. And so I think newer trainers get pretty disengaged when they understand or when they realize like, oh man, this is actually really hard work to get people to follow. It's not writing the program, it's getting somebody to follow the right program. And I'll tell you what, if it's hard to talk to people on the gym floor or in a gym space, I think that trainer should go away from the gym space and try to talk to people. It is so much easier to talk to people in a gym, in a fitness environment, than out in like the wild. And so I feel like it's probably just really easy to get complacent, and you're surrounded by gym members, and these are highly qualified people for your training service, and it's easy to lose sight of that. So spend some time outside of the gym and try to build relationships that way, and it's a lot harder.
Yeah, I think last thing on that is, I think if you're a new trainer or a trainer in a gym or a one-on-one trainer looking to get clients in, you're in a big gym, is go around, talk to people, but go around to someone that maybe is doing something wrong, and don't train them, but say, hey, just want to drop a little nugget to you real quick. Change this foot up real quick. Change this stance up real quick. Try it. Love that. Have a great day. See you later. And just fix stuff little by little and go around. And now that person, you may fix someone's, I don't know, split squat or something in 2 seconds, and you walk away, and the whole time they're like, wow, that guy really knows what he's doing. and you're just kind of running around the gym planting seeds. And next thing you know, that girl will come up to you and be like, hey, teach me a little bit more. And I think that that's what I wish I would have done sooner, is gone around and just fix stuff on people, even dudes that don't like being talked to, be like, hey man, I'm not trying to be that guy, but just try this for me. Oh man, thank you so much. And then you go on, you're planting seeds all the way around. I think that's just good gym culture. We talked about this before we got on. If I could tell myself one thing from the past, is not everyone wants to train like you do, meaning me. Like, I got out of college, I played soccer all 4 years, and then I got my CSCS. So I knew how to do two things very well: run a lot and Olympic lift and power lift. Well, that's not necessarily gym pop right there, is Olympic lifting, powerlifting, and running tempo runs around fields. So when I started, very, very quickly, I learned that I really don't know anything on how to train gym population, and I need to really dumb this down. Funny story. One of my first clients ever in a gym setting, got her. She walked in. This girl is 125 pounds soaking wet. Shout out Emily. If you listen to this, you know who you are. So she comes into the gym studio, and I'm sorry, Emily, but this was 13 years ago. And I barely warmed her up. I think we walked on the treadmill for a second, and we maybe did some mobility stuff for 2.5 seconds. And I immediately took her to a squat rack and put a bar on her back with no pad, no nothing. She probably couldn't even body squat very well, to be honest with you. Like, CSCS doesn't do a very good job at assessments, but that's just the thing, right? So we we squat the bar, and she immediately is like, I put the world on her back, right? Like, form was terrible. Everything was terrible. Luckily enough, gentlemen, I was smart enough to realize this is a terrible idea. We should abort this mission right away. So we racked the bar. I think we maybe did one set of 5 where I pretty much lifted it for her the whole time, racked it up, and then we just went and did like some goblet squats or some, just regular body weight squats. But that was my first experience of like, bro, like, not everyone can back squat and deadlift, and you should probably not lead with that. So yeah, that's my big takeaway is, nothing.
It's funny when I was in, so my first job was Gold's Gym, and Gold's Gym dominates the San Antonio fitness space. I think when I first got to San Antonio in 2014, they had like 26 gyms, I think, in San Antonio. It was a massive amount. And so two pieces: one, to spark conversation and get myself out there, but two, to also put myself out there to train people how they want to be trained. Is I walked up to a group of dudes who were obviously like the biggest guys in the gym, biggest, strongest, there every day, taking supplements, all this good stuff. And I literally said, I'll train y'all for free. And they're like, wow, I don't need any personal trainers. No. Like, you tell me what you're doing. What is it? Chest day, leg day, whatever the case may be. You tell me your goals. Tell me like your routine. Do your routine. And all I'm going to do is critique what you're already doing. I'm not going to change up your exercises. I'm not going to change up your rep ranges. I'm just going to like give you tips and tricks on what you're already doing. And after that workout, they were, one, smoked. Two, I taught them like so many different things, or maybe just changed up stuff that they hadn't done in a really long time, and brought back focus to like focal points and stuff like that. And I mean, those guys are like still my friends to this day. And so was never a client of mine, but referred me tons of people. When people would come, like every big guy in the gym, I think, just gets asked a lot of questions from newbies or regulars or whatever the case may be. And it became hey, just go talk to Joseph. Hey, Joseph's over there. He's like, just go talk to them. And so like the referral network was huge. And like, hey, I was going to go talk to that big guy over there, and he sent me over here to talk to you. And so that was my thing. It was, you keep doing whatever you're going to do, and I'm just going to optimize it, or I'm going to maximize it. And so that was a huge learning curve for me, to be like, man, I don't have to completely change the game. I don't have to make you do what I want you to do. We can do what you want to do, and I can just perfect it. And now you're having a good workout because you like what we're doing. It's what you enjoy doing at the gym, and you're seeing better results, better progress, whatever the case may be. So you have immediate effects, and long-term benefits as well.
You just started adding value, building like relationships. You added value in a way that they needed or wanted value instead of in a way that you personally would want value for your workout, which is an important distinction.
Cody's probably going to hate this, but when trainers spend hours writing out mesocycles and microcycles and oh my God, like, and you haven't asked your client 5 questions, like, please go get to know your client first before you write out a 16-week strength training program that you think is going to deliver the best results ever. And your client's like, you have me squatting 3 times a week and I hate squatting. You know what I mean? Like, go talk to your client, go figure them out, figure out how to optimize what they're already doing, incorporating the moves and the equipment that they like to use, and start there before you just put your head down and pencil and paper or an app or build a program for 16 weeks. And it takes you 4 hours to do and your client hates it.
I think on that, Joseph, is I think a lot of trainers, so outside of training like you do, one thing I think I'm very good at is knowing how to train a client. You'll have a guy or a girl that really wants you to be a little intense with them, to push them, to have their rest periods be short. And really they're working that hour, right? And that's what they want. And you should be able to provide that for them. And on the flip side, I have a few clients to where right now, to where if I did that with them, they would fire me. Like if I was all over them, not letting them talk about their life and their business and all that, like they would literally fire me. And I know for a fact, like 2 of my clients, when we're doing consultations, I've never met them in my life. They're like, how's your training style? I'm like, I kind of meet you where you want me to meet you. And they're literally like, I don't like intense trainers. I don't want to be yelled at. I like positive people. And I'm like, cool, I'll meet you right there. And I think a lot of very young trainers are their way or the highway, and they're going to just be intense the whole time. Or flip side, they're just not going to push them. And then next thing you know, that this person, it's a talking session. So you got to know how your client wants to be trained mentally and physically and meet them both in the middle. And I think that's something that I had to learn very, very quickly, because you will lose business. You also won't get business, and then you won't keep that business because they just don't enjoy their hour. It's their hour. They're paying for it. So it needs to be how they want to be trained and what they want to do within parameters. That's important.
Go back to your original question, Tyler. You're like, what was the one thing? I think it's safe to assume a lot of trainers like maybe get into the fitness industry. One, because they love fitness to some degree. Fitness has had some impact on their life. But another reason is like, I want to be my own boss, and I want to, have a flexible schedule and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, man, I got bad news for you. Every one of your clients is a boss, and you work like you've already mentioned, like us trainers, we work for our clients and we have to deliver what our client wants and needs. And if it's a blend of stuff, like it gets tricky figuring out how to like give them a little bit of what they want to create buy-in and have fun, but then also give them enough of what they need to actually like see progress towards their results. You can't just like, copy and paste some crazy 16, 20, 24-week training program that produce great results for the trainer, right? Client doesn't want that. It's boring for a lot of people. Like us trainers are weird. We like that stuff.
Yeah,
most people
like
don't.
That. Joseph, I think one thing you said that was super, it got my way, it just clicked, light bulb went off, is is you going up to those guys and offering your services for free. Nobody does that anymore. And I've listened to a bunch of just like business podcasts and all that, and they talk about when you're starting a business, you should just give away a lot of your stuff for free, whether it's your knowledge, your education, your services, because you have no proof of concept. Right? You have zero proof of concept. So a lot of new trainers out there, they want to get their certification and then they want to go start charging $125, $150 an hour. And it's never going to happen. You will not be a trainer for very long. I remember when I started, I was like trying to get clients and like, well, what do you charge? I'm like, what do you have? Literally, like, can you pay $30? Like, I think I started at 30 or $40 an hour. But in that time when I was starting that, I'm like, dude, $30 to $40 an hour is crazy. Like that's a lot of money. There's a lot of professional occupations out there that aren't making $40 an hour. And so like I was not scoffing at that at all when I was charging $40 an hour. Now I have, because we've been in this game for 13 years, like I can charge, my rates are $125 to $150 an hour. So that's where I'm at. But it took me 9, 10 years to get there. And so one of the things that I would tell myself, second thing I would tell myself is give away stuff for free, charge stupid cheap amounts for stuff. And as you build credibility, as you build rapport, raise your rates over time, and then you're going to find clients that can pay that. The pool of clients that can pay $20 to $40 an hour is large. And you can fill up a full work day super easy. Clients that can pay $150 an hour is very small. So fish with a big net and then start pulling your big fish out. They can afford it, but that's not a lot to them. And now you've built a really good business. And I wish I would have done that. Well, not that I didn't do it. I did do it, but I did it by accident. But I wish that I wish I could have scaled that quicker.
Well, that was the thing. Like Gold's Gym controlled the prices, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I could go out and be like, hey, oh, you can't afford. Like I think the starting price, it was the more sessions you bought, the cheaper it got per session, right? But like starting out, it was like $75 a session, and then if you bought 4, it was $72.50 a session. If you bought 8, it was 70, so on and so forth. And so let's dog on me for a second. I was in the military. When I got out, I was 23 years old. I was a 180 pound scrawny little runner because that's all you do in the military. And I'm walking up to these massive bodybuilders, like vascular tank tops. They tan for a living. Like it's just like what they do, right? And I'm like 180 pounds, pale white little kid, like looks like I haven't lifted a day in my life. And I'm like, hey, I just want to like train you for free. Because going up to them and be like, hey, do you want to pay me $75 an hour to teach you what you already know? Like they'd have been like, get out of my face, right? So, and shout out to Best Coaches. So we have a mentor group that we communicate with every other Saturday. And I tell the coaches there, I've done more free stuff than any one of us combined, probably. I've trained so many people for free. I've given so much free advice. I've given so many free resources and tools and consultations and tips and tricks like that, even to this day. Like, even though I have a successful business and everything in my life is great, I'll still do stuff for free because I'm never going to put myself above a price point to impact someone's life or grow your reputation or your validity in the space. And so I took on a free client the other day as a veteran. And I was literally like, hey, I will coach you for free for however long you need me, just because I appreciate your service and I know what you're struggling through, and let's get you right. Super grateful. Guys sent me 2 clients already. Like,
Yeah.
so like, don't be afraid. And Tyler, like to your point, if you have some big fish, you can afford 80, 100, $120 a session. Great. But like, don't forget to like fill some of your gaps with like those lower hanging fruits of $50 a session, $60 a session, or whatever the case may be. To one, so you always stay busy, but 2, you're growing width. So like we talk about business in 2 different ways, depth and width. Don't be afraid to grow wide with maybe a lower value client who's paying you less money, but that client could double or triple your clientele through referrals. And so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Luckily, again, shout out to my fitness manager who was like, hey, if they buy 4 sessions, give them a 5th one for free. If they buy 8, give them 10. If they buy 12, give them 15. Like, just show that you appreciate them, number one. And they're just going to keep bringing back value to you or growing your business one way, one how. And not being like, oh, well, hey, you only got 1 more session left, so you got to pay me now or bye, like get out of the gym. So don't get so stuck on money versus servicing people really well.
Yep.
I do think there's like a place for like pro bono work. So exactly what you're talking, Joseph, where you're providing services completely for free with no expectation of anything in return. For a newer trainer, though, that might be like kind of intimidating, and like a lot of trainers are passionate people. I like the free work. And we've all probably, like, before we were even certified, we were helping our buddies for free and helping family members for free and whatnot with our knowledge. But free doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't like a bidirectional exchange of stuff. You can do a free training session, but you can also clearly communicate on the front end, hey, I would love to train you for free, but like, would you mind writing me like a testimonial or a review? Or will you give me feedback on our sessions? Will you let me know what you liked, what you didn't like? So you can like still give something for free, but then ask for stuff, and putting it in air quotes, in return, right? And if you don't even feel comfortable with that, cool, give away free training sessions, but there's still something to be learned in that. And so it's like, try your new training protocols, take notes, and evaluate what worked, what didn't, what would you do different on the next time. And so like, you're getting experience, you're building confidence, and it's a waste of a free training session if somebody doesn't pay you and you're not analyzing or evaluating that service that you provided to then make it better down the road, because that's how you ultimately have a longer career in fitness, right? So like, yes, there might not be like an actual dollar exchange for what you're doing, but there's so many different ways that you can get a lot of the trainer can get a lot of great value out of that thing. And that's probably not talked enough about with newer trainers, because they're like, and understandably, they're like, I gotta pay bills. Like, I need to make money. It's like, yep, hear it. Might have to delay gratification in some regard, right? Until you get to a point where you're feeling confident and you are competent and you can actually deliver a service that commands a certain price point, right? So there's always something to learn, even if it is for free.
A really powerful question I sent home to the coaches the other day was, go ask your clients, am I doing what you hired me to do? Like, just go ask. Like, I don't, like, whatever it may be. Are you losing weight? Are you getting stronger? Do you feel more confident in the gym? Are you sleeping better? Do you have a better quality of, like, whatever they hired you to do? Just go ask them. Am I delivering the results that you hired me to do? You can do that one-on-one, obviously, or you could do it through the form of like a form or a questionnaire or a survey, right? Things like that. Like to Cody's point, could you leave me a review and tag me in the post? Or could you go to, if you have a Google site, right? Could you go to Google and leave me a review, whatever the case may be? But I think too often we don't ever self-reflect like on the quality of service we're giving, because we never ask. And Tyler and I were on calls together and we talk about survey results, and it always makes me cringe. I hate survey results, but honestly, like, we learn so much through surveys, and just asking the people, are we doing our job? And oftentimes, like, people will be brutally honest and you're like, oh goodness, gut check. And that's a good point to where you need to be like, well, am I willing to adapt and overcome and actually do the things that I need to be doing? Or is this not the right career for me? Could go both ways. But yeah, getting feedback from your clients, like Cody, like you said, like, huge. Just tell me, critique this session, critique me as a trainer during this session, whatever the case may be. That criticism is hugely helpful.
Like you said, Joseph, I like I've always done that with my clients, either a month in or once all their first group of sessions is up. It's literally like, hey, how are you liking this? Like, do you like our sessions? Do you want to see more of this? What do you like? What do you dislike? Like, how can I be a better trainer to you? I like those conversations. Never been a big fan of surveys. I think surveys are like Yelp reviews or Google reviews or Reddit threads. Just not a lot of positivity going on in those areas. It's just kind of the Debbie Downers and the leeches are in those areas talking all the time. So I think conversations, person to person, face to face, are usually the best way to go about those things. But yeah, totally agree there. Do you like the service you are getting? Another thing, and maybe so, let's segue into this a little bit. So let's take a trainer. We've kind of talked about that trainer that's like just started. Maybe they're within their first 1 to 2 years. One of my big things I would have told myself maybe 3 years in, 4 years in, we talked about this before the podcast, is over education. And I'm all about education. I mean, because y'all two are brilliant dudes. Y'all probably read more than I do. But I think that there's a time and place for education, and there's a time and place to get in the trenches and apply that education. Because I've talked to some really smart people that they just really know how to be trainers, yet they're not doing very well as a trainer. They can tell me all about the levers and moment arms and Krebs cycle and breathing periods and restorations, but they're training one session a day. So it begs the question, should you spend more time educating yourself, or should you spend more time in the actual gym doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing? And that's kind of what I wish I would have told myself, is like, hey, you got what you need. You can always learn more. You will learn more, but go train people. Stop reading so much. It's kind of one of my big things, is quit reading and go do.
Yeah, I think we talked about that on a previous episode, where probably the past 3 years I'm still reading, but I've shifted my focus of reading from like nerdiness of moment arm and metabolism and all this stuff, and I've shifted to learn how to understand and connect with people better. Like almost everything that I read nowadays is trying to learn, understand, connect, motivate, whatever the case may be, with people, because all of us are in the online world some way, somehow. But what you'll notice, I think most specifically with online coaching, is it becomes very therapeutic very fast, much more so than like your 1 hour with one client, right? It's like we can literally, my clients can chat with me 24/7, and they do. And chatting every day is going to come up with more like lifestyle struggles, relationship struggles, whether it's with other people, with their work, with their food, with their workout routine. And you become a therapist way more than you become a trainer or anything like that.
It's almost like Brett Bartholomew really knew what he was getting into with the art of coaching. Shout out Brett. We love that dude. Maybe he'll watch our podcast one day. But coaches, if you haven't read The Art of Coaching, you should. It's amazing. So yeah, I just had to put that out there. It's all about communication and how you talk to people and communicate to your clients and athletes and all that. So I agree 100%, Joseph. Mine's more about, everything I read nowadays is about building business and communicating to people. It's a whole lot less about sets and reps and all that, because I just don't care that much anymore. It's all the same.
Yeah. When I graduated, I got an ag business degree, minor in economics, fell in love with fitness. And I was like, man, should have gotten a degree in kinesiology, sports science. Man, that'd be so much better. I would have been so much more educated. I'd get people so much better results. 4 or 5 years in, I was like, ooh, that would have been a mistake. Psychology probably actually would have been fantastic, right? Behavior change, understanding what
100%.
motivates people and whatnot. I mean, at this point, and I say this kind of like jokingly, but at this point, I'm with y'all. Looking back at the last 10, 11 years, business is great, kinesiology, great, but psychology, great. Man, a degree in communication, and honest, I hate saying this because in high school and middle school, this drove me nuts, but like English, being able to write well and clearly and effectively communicate is maybe one of the, you can't get too good at it. It's maybe one of the most valuable skills that we can have. So watching like my evolution of, man, I wish I'd gotten this degree change over the years, just kind of like lets you know where the weak points will exist through like a coach's career and lifetime. And initially you think that it's the kinesiology piece, but man, it's probably not that.
Not at all. I wish I would have taken a little more psychology, and then I wish I had taken some more business stuff, honestly. I feel like I was so behind. I took one, I think literally one business class, and I don't even know what it was. It was probably intro to business, where you don't learn anything. But I know, Joseph, you wanted to hit on a little bit. If you could tell your 22, 23-year-old self about building a training business outside of the things we've talked about, like what would you tell them? And I think the one thing, because we wanted to break this down between like one-on-one, you're a personal trainer, whether you're in a big box, whether you're an in-home gym. And now we know that the online thing is kind of taken off. Looking back now, I don't think I could have done both very well. I'm almost glad that the way the world worked and the way it turned out, I think was just the best for me. Is I truly believe that you should build an in-person business and then build your online on top of that. I think doing an online from scratch, if I had to go back now, I think I would have failed tremendously. It is so hard. It's so incredibly hard without a base of people. So if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't change anything. I would just validate it. So any new trainer out there looking to do online and in person, is I would build an online base for 5 years. 3 to 5 years and truly see if you're really good at coaching and whether you really like it, and then bolt your online on top of that, because now you have proof of concept. You actually like doing what you're doing. Who's pointing at who?
Wait, sorry,
So
Tyler.
Tyler said, you said that you said online twice. So
I would build. I'm sorry.
3
I
to
would
5
build.
years
Yeah.
in person.
Yes, I would build my in-person. I'm sorry. I think I meant to say like in a gym, and I said in. So I would build my in-person, one-on-one group training, personal training business. I would build that for 3 to 5 years, and then I would bolt the online business on top of that, workouts, nutrition, all of that. So any new trainers out there, that's what I would do.
And that's because in person, you can validate yourself as a coach much more than you can in an online way. You can build trust and relationships so much more. And I mean, I talk about this. If it wasn't for Gold's Gym, I don't think that my Camp Gladiator fitness career would have been as successful, because I brought all of my clients with me to Camp Gladiator, right? And if it wasn't for Camp Gladiator, I don't think my online business would have been successful, because I was outdoors in person with people every single day. And so to wake up one day, get a certification, be like, I'm going to be an online coach. I know you have a lot of followers. Very rarely will those followers spend money when you start asking them to spend money. And so followers does not equal a paycheck. And I want everyone to really just understand that and trust me when I tell you I have people who follow me who have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, and I triple their income. And I have 1,000, right? And so understand that followers doesn't equal money. And to your point, Tyler, trying to, and if in person isn't like feasible, maybe they're out of state, then you have to build a relationship on Zoom or on Skype. Skype's not a thing anymore. FaceTime, right? Like on the phone. Sorry,
Skype, blast from the past. I haven't heard the word
Dave.
Skype in forever.
I dated myself back a couple of years. And so try to make it as in person as possible, even if you can't. Because texting and DMing back and forth is probably not going to get the job done. You need to spend some quality time, hear their voice, see their faces, if that's your only option. So yeah, 1,000% agree.
One of the things with like in-person coaching that drastically benefits you with online is you get to time and experience seeing what like works really well. Your feedback loop is so much shorter and so much faster in person. And so being able to like sharpen your blades in person just makes you a far better online coach. Online is great. There's a lot of freedom and flexibility and whatnot, but that communication piece has to be even better than in person. It has to be more efficient, has to be more clear and whatnot. So that's the value in building your stuff in person and honing in those skills. And I'd completely agree with y'all. Joseph, you actually kind of got ahead of us for the lightning round for one of my questions that I got coming up.
Let's do it.
Talking about and this light bulb just kind of went off, the evolution of a young trainer, and I'm looking at the evolution of my past 13 years, is we can probably all agree. I think you can lead with two things as a trainer. You can lead with your physical looks, or you can lead with your education. I really don't think you can have one or the other. I feel like you have to have both, but you're probably going to lean on one for a little while. And when you're younger, you're probably going to lean into your looks a little bit. Everyone's going to want to look the way you look. So you'll get validation from other dudes. They think you're in shape and they want to look like you. So you may get some male clients and then some female clients are like, oh, well, he knows what he's talking about because he looks the way he looks. So a lot of young trainers like lean into that if you can. However, with the understanding that you're not going to look like that for forever. So what are you going to do when you don't look like that when you're 29, 30, 31, 32, 36? And like, yeah, I'm in shape, but I don't look like I looked like when I was 25. So if you're not and you're only one or the other with looks or education, because on the flip side, if someone could have a PhD in exercise sports science, a PhD in nutrition, but they don't look the part, their business is probably going to suffer a little bit from it as well. So knowing the evolution of yourself as a trainer from beginning to end is you have to have both, and it can't be one or the other.
And that was huge. I think we've talked about it before, but shout out to a gym in San Antonio called Move Fit Live. And the owner and I went to dinner one time, and he was like, "Do you think you would be as successful as you are if you didn't look the part?" And that could just be how you carry yourself. It could be, are you in the gym every day when you're telling your clients to be in the gym? Are you eating it correctly when you're telling your clients to eat correctly? It could be many, like look the part could be many different things. But I will tell you that I've never met an overwhelmingly successful out of shape coach who didn't prioritize their own fitness, prioritize their own nutrition, prioritize their own healthy lifestyle. I've never met one that is preaching what we're preaching, which is get some workouts in, eat a little bit better, sleep a little bit better, right? You could push something crazy like an MLM supplement and probably be super successful and fat at the same time, which happens all the time. If you're preaching what we're preaching, which is go do fitness, go do nutrition, be a better healthy human, I think looking the part one way or another with your education, definitely very helpful.
I'll play devil's advocate for a second, just on one facet.
Please.
If you're young, I hope all the we're old, whatever. I hope even the older generation that's listening to this, I hope it resonates with them. But if you're a younger trainer, just acknowledge, and if you're going down I'm gonna chase aesthetics and whatnot, just acknowledge and understand that you can get great results and look pretty great in spite of doing really stupid stuff. And that really stupid stuff that you do that works great for you, cool. I'm happy about it. It might not be the right skill set or set of tools that ultimately helps you be a good trainer. Frankly, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd go education. Because that gives you all of the tools and knowledge and the underlying like fundamentals of like being curious enough to like continue to learn. And I know y'all too have seen some giant jacked Adonis Greek god looking dude in the gym doing some really dumb stuff. Yeah. And it's like, man, how does that work for him? Like it works, but how? That is asinine, right?
Well, I hope he's not coaching his clients that way. That's the crazy. Like, if it works for you, great. Please don't throw your 60-year-old sedentary client upside down in the Smith machine, leg pressing the Smith machine on their on their arches of their feet, like just because you want to build their butt. Like, you can go do it, sure. Please don't make your clients do that.
If I had a suggestion, and Cody, kind of you, if I had just a recommendation, is I would build a business on aesthetics and I would sustain it on education. Build it on how you look, all the things, but then it will thrive for forever if you're a smart person and continue on. Is build it on aesthetics, thrive it, survive it, and keep it moving on education.
In today's age, like 2023, this is filmed what month is it? September? September 2023, yeah. Right? Like we are more aesthetically motivated than ever before because of social media. So 10, 15 years ago when we started, social media wasn't that big of a deal. So education, I think, could have weighed a little bit more back in the past. But nowadays, especially if you want to grow an online business, like I think you do need to build it off of how you look and then let people buy into that. Unless you're just really good at communicating. And if you're 22, 23 years old, let me tell you, like using things like bet in your vocabulary is not communicating very well. So you're not going to grow a business when you're saying bet and whatever other cool words are out there nowadays. So
I don't know, dude, that sounds kind of sus.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I'm not going down this road. I'm not going there. I have this conversation with my younger clients every day. I'm not going to make me mad if we start going down all the, but when we were that age, we were saying stupid words too. That's true. Remember when crunk was a word? Crunk was,
unfortunately,
yes. That's because Lil Jon was like the thing.
I still say tight. Y'all still like that's tight? I still say that all the time.
I'm originally from California, so I have to say it's hella tight. Now, check it out. So let me know what y'all think about this. I like to dip into the research pool every now and then. I'm not qualified to interpret and analyze research, but they did a cool study. Some researchers, I don't know, whatever, don't quote me. And they looked at the importance of trainer physique for clients. And so this is like peer-reviewed research. And so they were like, well, let's test it. How important is physique for different clients? Does it matter male trainer, male client, female client? And ultimately, I'll just cliff notes, how you look as a trainer is important to a lot of clients. As weird as that, well, it probably doesn't sound weird, but like how you look specifically doesn't necessarily make you a great coach, whatever. The way I don't think it's like an either or thing. It's like a both and. And so the way to think about your physique is it's probably one of the greatest marketing tools that you have a lot of direct control over. And nobody can really take it away from you. You can lose your Instagram account overnight for no reason, right? But like Facebook can't take away your physique. And so that's how I would like look at aesthetics, physique, performance. You have a giant bench, deadlift, powerlifting total, like cool. That might be one of your greatest marketing tools. But the way that you're going to keep business and grow business is on the education front.
Yeah. I mean, I've never walked into a dentist office and said, hey, can I see your diploma real quick before you operate? What do you think? Like I've been
what?
like,
I have walked in and been like, let me look at your smile.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like
if I walked
I didn't
in
ask them.
and there's two dentists side by side, one has a Harvard, degree behind him, but his teeth are jacked. And then there's another one like University of Phoenix, but he's got like just pearly whites. I don't mean to pick University of Phoenix. It's just the first like online TV commercial that popped into my head. I'm sure there's a lot of smart people who go to University of Phoenix, but like I would pick the dude that's got like just ding.
No, I want the dude who helped that dentist get his teeth.
But what if
he's not the one doing the dental work?
What if he's like, I did it myself.
It's like I think it's so funny. Like
what if he did it himself?
in our world right now, right? Like we've all coached probably a lot of people who have now become coaches. Yeah. And I see them marketing themselves and like, look at all my progress. And I'm like, mother effer, I did that for you. Like, stop trying to sell your product.
We're going down rabbit holes. We're going down rabbit holes.
All right, hey, real quick, because we got to go to a lightning round. Let's this kind of conversation went all over the place. Let's just go around one topic that you would have told yourself as a young coach. Go, Cody. We all got to be different.
Stop starting with me. I need time to think and process.
Tyler, go. One thing you're going to tell you. What's your one takeaway from this call? One takeaway.
Yeah, I'll recap my 3 real quick on here because I got them written down. Is if I were to go back and tell my 22-year-old self this, starting off as a trainer, not everyone wants to train like you do. Meet your clients where they want to be met. Give away your knowledge. Work for free. Work for super cheap. Build your business as you build credibility and rapport. Over education. Education is important, but over education is stupid. Work on building your business. And then the last one, we didn't really talk about it, but it's just hard. It's freaking hard. And if training is hard, there's a lot of trainers out there that make a lot of money, and there's a lot of trainers out there that scrape by. The business is hard. You can do very well at it, and it's all directly proportional to the amount of work that you put in. And that's the conversation I would have with little young Tyler.
Love it. I would just add to those 3, be a great communicator and a great listener and adaptable to your client needs. Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're just touching on like the fundamentals of just being a good coach, like be client-centered, be adaptable and personable, be professional. I think like build relationships. I don't know if that necessarily gets talked about probably enough in the fitness space from like client to coach business growth and whatnot, but like you probably won't have a long, fulfilling career in fitness if you're not willing to go talk to people, build relationships, get to know people, chat with people face to face. Kind of one of those undervalued things, I feel like. And that's definitely one of the things that I didn't even consider when I first started out. I was like, if I'm in shape, I love fitness, everybody else will, it'll be great. And I don't have to talk to people. It'll be awesome. And I just couldn't have been more wrong, So I agree with what y'all said. I can't really add a whole lot more.
We got a lightning round, Cody.
Yeah,
we got all kinds of lightning rounds. Let's start. Let's break the lightning round ice. That sounded weird. I'll work on it. Let's break the ice though with I'm a new trainer and I have questions for y'all too. You still only have 30 seconds to answer.
Okay.
And I'm also grasping at straws here. I don't know what a new trainer would ask, but I'm going to try. I'm going to come up with questions that I think they might ask and whatnot.
You need lightning round sounds.
You still have 30 seconds to answer.
Henry had those
once I ask the question. Okay.
Play the Jimmy Neutron theme song.
3, 2, 1.
Got a blast.
Who's going first?
You know what, Tyler? Since you threw me under the bus first, I'm throwing you under the bus first. So, Tyler, here is your first question coming at you. Tyler, I'm a newer trainer and I just got certified. I'm loving it. What's the next certification that I should get? Go.
What did you get? Wait, hold on, time out. What did you get? Oh,
NASM CPT, just a regular accredited CPT.
Got you. I would, I go get my CSCS because I think it's kind of the gold standard for training. I think it's what you should work towards getting. I think all the little ones in between don't really mean a whole lot to me. So I would work on getting your NASM, CPT, and then I personally would work towards my CSCS.
Time to spare. Joseph, I'm a newer trainer. I just got certified by an accredited PT certifying body. What's my next cert that I should chase down? What initials do I need after my name?
Better get a kickback from this, but I would say go get precision level 1 and level 2 nutrition. And not because of the nutrition, but because their level 2 specifically teaches you how to communicate, build confidence in your clients, give them actionable items that they can actually do instead of just throwing out random advice. But you can't do level 2 without level 1. So you got to go be a coach first, nutrition, and then you can jump into level 2.
Yeah, that would be my third one. That'd be my third cert for sure. Right there with you, Ed.
I'm going to answer this one as well. I'm going to cheat. I got 30 seconds though. I would say don't go get another certification. You just got certified. Go reread your textbook.
Oh, the trick question. Joseph, it was a trick question. He set us up. He set us up.
Don't go do another certification.
Cody always has the best answers because he sits there and he listens to us be wrong. And then he's
spend a year implementing the stuff that you just freaking learned. Go make relationships with people. Go to conferences. Go meet other trainers. Learn that stuff and implement it. You don't need extra initials at the end of your name right after you just got some. Like, go do some other stuff.
I thought like, what are you going to work? I read your question wrong.
Whatever. Next question. Cody,
Okay,
answer your own question first, and then we can target you.
What a chump setting us
next. Do you want? We can do that. No, that'd be lame. I won't answer this one. I appreciate y'all's answers more so. Here we go. Okay. Hey, I'm a newer trainer and I've been posting on social media. How many followers do I need before I can like be doing my work from a laptop at a beach? Tyler, go.
Oh, 0. I think you kind of build them all at the same time. I started a pretty successful online business with like 1,000 followers. And like Joseph said, we know a lot of people with 100,000 followers, hundreds of thousands of followers that aren't doing very well. And we have as big a business as they do. And I think I have like 2,500 members. So I would start building them both at the same time and not use it as a barrier of entry.
Joseph, I'm a newer trainer. How many followers do I need before I start making buku bucks? Go.
Pay less attention to your followers and pay more attention to how many people you interact with every day. So don't count followers, count interactions.
Damn, that was a good one. So what you're saying is like newer trainer, engage with people and like track that engagement so that you.
Yeah, that's huge. Imagine a car salesman and how many touch points he has with leads, right? And how he's following up with you to get you into the dealership. And even if you walk away from the dealership, how he calls you afterwards and so on and so forth. Make initial connection with a person. You got 10 followers. I would try to talk to all 10 of them. And then I would set a cadence of when I'm going to talk to them again, what I'm going to talk to them about, and maybe not even be so sales driven. Just build a relationship. How are you? I saw you post that you went on vacation last week. How was it? Cool. Awesome. See you later. And build relationships and connections first rather than I need to get to 10,000 followers as fast as possible. Because if not a 10,000 person will talk to you, then those 10,000 don't matter.
Joseph talks to a lot of car salesmen. So that was naturally his.
that is a true story. Yeah. That is a true story about
They
Joseph.
call him all the time.
I'm only on my 5th car for the year. So
I've never even owned 5 cars in my life. Hey, anyways, moving on into our next question. Joseph, going to you first. Joseph, I'm a newer trainer. You can set your own hours, right? Like how flexible is the schedule? Go.
It's not flexible at all. You're going to be where your client wants you to be when they want you to be there. And if they want to change their day, hey, we normally train on Thursday. I want to train on a Saturday. Guess what? You're going to be there Saturday as well. So your schedule, if you think you're going to have a 40-hour work week, you're not. You're going to have like an 80-hour work week at all the hours that you don't want to work.
Done. Nice. Tyler.
Yeah.
How flexible is the schedule?
It's not flexible, especially those starting out. So those starting out, you better be able to offer things for free and super cheap, and you better be able to work out when they want to work out. I was taking on like clients that at 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m., literally when I first started, and then waking up at 4:30 a.m. to go do Camp Gladiator and a boot camp. So If you're wanting to set your own schedule and set your own prices, probably not going to be in the game for very long.
I would just say we work when other people don't work. So that's going to wind you up with a split shift. You'll be working early mornings, late evenings, probably weekends. You will likely have more control over your schedule the longer and the more professional, the longer you are in the industry and the more professional you are. Okay, let's go a different direction with the rest of these questions. Quick ones. Joseph, I'll go to you. Best book that you've read in the last couple of months?
Ooh.
Talent War. Can't tell you who it's by. Talent War teaches you about finding the right people for the right jobs, and pretty much finding the strength in people. What are they good at? And let's put them there. Let's stop. Like you need to work on whatever you're weakest at. No. I want to know what you're really good at, and I want you to maximize it. And let's go.
Nice. Cool. Tyler, best book that you've read recent weeks or months?
Yeah, I read a book. I'm always fascinated with special forces and Navy SEALs and all those guys and just the mindset of what they do and what they did and how they did it. And special operator named Eddie Penny wrote a book named called Unafraid. And it's just about his time as a SEAL and special teams. And then at the end of each chapter, he has it's called a hot wash, and basically what he learned at that stage of his life. Really, really good. Unafraid. And then it's just a cool story. So yeah, I really liked it.
Not recently, within the last year, I've been chipping away at it slowly. By the way, I hate reading. I like podcasts and Audible. I can focus on it easier. But Changemaker by Dr. John Berardi, who is the grandpappy of precision nutrition. Everybody needs to read that book. I don't care what industry you're in. You need to read Changemaker. It's fantastic. Okay, next question. These are slightly different, by the way, guys. These are kind of little different for us today. Tyler, what is next for you? You got any projects in the pipeline? What are you working on? What's the next thing for you? 3, 2, 1, go.
Next for me, business right now in the training world is pretty cool. I would like to do some sort of book or educational tool in the training world, whether it's about my kind of like stuff we talked about today. That's maybe next for me. I think my next life cycle might be a little bit of woodworking. I've really been getting into like some woodworking stuff, to be honest. I mean, that's maybe the old man in me, guys, but yeah, maybe a book in woodworking. I'm old.
Tyler's gonna be a carpenter.
Yeah, dude,
What is next for you? What projects are in the pipeline?
So we are building a conference. So hopefully April of next year, we will have a health conference going on. So that will be huge. And I want to take a deep dive down that route. And then mentoring coaches. So again, there's multiple ways to work with me already as a mentor through Best Coaches or Unconquerable. But helping coaches and people just really get their life on track with what you're good at. And we're going to maximize that stuff.
Cool.
What about you, Cody?
What's next for you?
What about me?
Like president?
Absolute 100%. Immediately, no, absolutely not.
I'd vote for you.
Doing a pilot for a 6-week challenge for a small group, and it's just strength focused, and it's just a time bound, bite size chunk of training. Primary outcome is like improving hex bar deadlift, and so I think going into the new year, like more specific outcome based challenges, if you will, some sort of time based.
I could see you being like a researcher in a lab. Like if Cody ever had like an old thing, like he would, you make your face at that, but you'd be a great researcher.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, definitely not.
Joseph agrees.
I do. Well, and that's because everyone knows this, but Cody's the golden child. Tyler and I are bad guys. Cody's the good guy. He's the smart guy. Like Cody.
No. Hey, question number 3. Swiftly moving on. Joseph, coming at you. This is a cool question. What is something that you have recently changed your mind on recently? Recently. What is something that you've changed your mind on? You held one belief earlier and you have changed your mind on it. What's that thing?
You can lose weight and build muscle at the same time. I used to think that. Because we would see whether it was people felt stronger, so they assumed they were building muscle, and strength and hypertrophy are different. And if you were in a caloric deficit and you were losing 1-2 pounds a week, it's really hard to maintain the muscle that you got, and it's almost impossible to build muscle without supplements.
Quick shout out. Y'all should watch Joseph's YouTube that he did covering those things, because he does hit on the 3 populations that can do a body recomposition. And it's likely not you. You probably don't fit into one of those 3 populations. Hey, Tyler, what is something that you have recently changed your mind on? Go.
Yeah, I maybe it's not recent, but it's the most thing. I think it's one of the things I talked about in coaching is this over education thing. I think I've been seeing a lot of it on social media is a lot of trainers just spending way too much time in the books. And I used to be that way. Like I just used to want to just consume knowledge and consume information and go to the smartest people that I know, but I wasn't actually growing my business. So I think I've really started to think you can over educate yourself. So don't do that. And don't ever go over on time, because then Cody will not.
Tyler went over on time.
That's my bad.
Well, I mean, quick caveat, or not caveat, but on top of what Tyler said, Lane Norton says, has a great, I don't know, I'm going to paraphrase it, but he essentially says, you see the guy who is doing the dumbest workout program, the dumbest nutrition plan, and he looks really good. And you're like, how? And it's like hard work. You can't out science hard work, and business is hard work, and nutrition coaching or fitness coaching is hard work. You can't out educate the hard work that has to be put into your business. Right. And so it's just super applicable. Hard work will win every time.
I'll add on top of that, and I'm going to speak from personal experience over it. Sticking your nose in the books and like really leaning into that education piece, assuming you have like a fundamental level of knowledge on a thing, that might almost be procrastination. You are procrastinating and kicking the can down the road of actually doing the hard freaking work. So nose out of the book, nose to the grindstone. And I'm right there with you if that feels uncomfortable, because I feel the same way. Hey, another question. Tyler, coming at you. This is more broadly speaking, health, fitness, nutrition, life, whatever it might be. What is one simple but impactful thing that most people aren't doing, but they should start? Go.
The fountain of youth is resistance training / lifting weights and consuming enough protein. And 95 to 99% of the population does not do that. So I wholeheartedly believe no matter what age you are, you should lift weights and you should eat a lot of protein, and you should do that till you die. And you'll probably live a lot longer. I got back some time there. I went over 4 seconds, but I lost some seconds there. So I feel like I'm even now.
I love it. Yeah. Even Stevens. Hey, by the way, folks, if you're getting older, you actually need probably more protein as you age. Your protein requirements go up a little bit. Joseph, 3, 2, 1.
Repeat the question. Sorry.
What is one simple but impactful thing that most people aren't doing but should?
Oh,
Go.
take a CLA collagen weight loss supplement. Obviously, is
so. Like, Tyler, how do we kick Joseph off of this?
Yeah,
podcast?
He's
fired.
See you later.
All right. The one thing that I would encourage you to do is stick to your routine. Whether you think it's working or not, whether you're seeing results or not, hang in there, keep going, give it time, trust the process, and don't give up so soon. I'm
gonna be Joseph's
devil's advocate and
favorite idiot for a second. Let me put it this way. I'll start the timer. I think it was Alan Cosgrove. He said if you could put into a pill all of the benefits and the positive things that come from sleep, and you put it into a pill, it would be the most quickly and widely banned performance-enhancing supplement across all federations. So, and Joseph, how did we start this conversation today?
Cody loves his sleep.
I love sleep. My thing that most people should probably do is wake up at the same time and go to sleep roughly at the same time, 7 days a week. It'll change your life.
I second that.
What about cold immersion and taking? Well, I don't want to go there.
We gotta go. Get out of here, boys.
We gotta
wrap
go.
us up.
All right, yeah. We'll put a bow on it, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to podcast number 10. It's been a decade of podcasts. So I don't know what that means, but hopefully you got something out of it. You know, trainers that are on here listening to us, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. That's awesome. Maybe you took some away from it, from our life lessons of 13 years. We'll figure out what we're doing for podcast 11. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon. Peace out, guys.